network to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Ebro, Laura, and Rosenberg. The queen is in the room. Mary J. Blige. I mean, let's get it cracking.
Royalty.
Taking over the show today. New album, Good Morning Gorgeous, which is out right now. I've seen your conversation with Angie Martinez, with Zane Lowe, and I just want to say I'm happy, very happy for you.
Thank you.
Because it sounds like this project and the title is specifically about you.
Yeah.
And your healing and the affirmations that you've been giving yourself.
Yes.
Tell us more about that, because there's a lot of women who have used your albums for therapy.
Right.
A lot of people who have used your albums to, heal and not feel alone. But talk about Good Morning Gorgeous and why the title and everything that went into this.
Okay, well, when you first hear the title, you think, oh, wow, okay, Mary's on some vain shit, or which I'm not. It's really the total opposite. It's because I didn't feel good about myself for a long, long time. And I ended up in a situation where someone hated me more than I hated myself. And then I started learning that the things that you say about yourself are more important than they affect you more than what anybody else has to say about you. What you believe about you and what you say about you is more effective. And so I said, let me try that. Let me try something positive that I don't even believe, because when you think of gorgeous, you think of Halle Berry and Apollonia and Sally Richardson in her prime, those women, those are gorgeous women. So I never thought about myself like that, but I started just saying those things to myself in the morning, like, good morning, gorgeous, good morning, beautiful. And I say it in the morning because you looking like, you look a mess in the morning. You don't feel like anything in the morning. So when I started saying it, I started feeling it. I started feeling good about myself. I started feeling something come alive that I needed, which was self-love, and so that's what I had to roll myself out of that negative situation with positive affirmations, and that's what I did.
Did you find that you said something really interesting there? What you say about yourself affects you even more than what other people say about you. But I think one thing that happens in relationships too is the people we're with know the things we say about ourselves. And then they reinforce the most negative things that we think about ourselves.
100%. And I was never enough. I could never. So when you trust someone that comes in your life at the beginning, and you trust them as your friend, oh God, and you tell them, oh, I don't feel good about this. I hate this about myself. And they're all comforting you and solely. And by the end of the relationship, they're calling you all those things, calling you out. And so now it's just killing you and chipping away at you. But, I'm stronger than that, when I found out this person hated me more than I hated himself and hated me more than I hated me, I was like, I'm not going to let you kill me.
That's right.
I'm going to figure this out. And I figured it out. It was hard. It was really, really hard.
Were you able to channel, because we've watched you grow up. You've grown up in front of us, right? And shared your stories and music and emotions with us. And this is kind of, I guess, for people looking at this conversation now and wondering, how did you find the energy? How did you find the grounding? Was there something that you were able to look back on from childhood or where you started to say, look, I've overcome so much. This ain't gonna break. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't gonna be the thing right here. This person ain't gonna be the thing. Like, was there something that enabled you to do that? Was it a conversation? Did you go seek therapy and help? How did you?
Well, it was books.
Okay.
Like TV pastors like Joyce Myers, like Battlefield of the Mind, T.D. Jakes, whatever. And they had so much information about what we speak about ourselves is more important than anything else. And how we love and loving ourselves is the best thing that we could do. So I just started studying all of that stuff. And as I started studying it, I started, getting more awareness about how to get out of that situation and turning everything back on this person that had turned on me. So that it just came from just studying and not only that, just wanting, just tired of feeling like that, tired of feeling less than, tired of feeling unworthy, tired of feeling like all my hard work meant nothing to me, and having to go back and say, you know what, Mary, you did do a lot. You are blessed. This person coming in your life with all this mess, that's his mess. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do for yourself? And that's what I did this for myself.
That's fire.
It's an amazing thing, too, because I think about my life, right? You go all the way back to that album, and I remember that was like Mary J. She's growing up now. She's seeing more of the world. You were going through a lot at that time. And it must be so weird. That was now 20 some years ago. And you must look back at that and go, so many people used my life as like something that was important for them to learn and grow.
Yeah.
And now you must look back at that time and realize you were still so early on your journey of discovery. Like this adulting thing is hard. Even for Mary J. Blige, it's really hard.
Oh, it's hell for Mary J. Blige. Like, I've been going through hell since I was 5 years old.
Right.
And by the time I met this person, you know, I was able to lean on him and say, can you help me? Turns out he didn't help me, he hurt me. Because I gave him so much, everything. And then he turned and flipped everything on me. So when I go back to the My Life album, I was in hell. And by the time I got to the No More Drama album, I was just tired. I was ready to just really give up. I was tired of fighting. I was tired of feeling like that. And so that's when I met. And that's when I was able to give everything. And then when I found out that this person was just as damaged and messed up as I was already getting stronger in an area where I can come out of it. I could say things and, you know, confess things over my life and come out of this.
Is forgiveness a part of this in any way? Have you gotten there yet where it's like you're looking at how someone harmed you and you're able to, because it sounds like you're able to see that this person was fucked up.
Yeah, forgiveness was first. Forgiveness was like, you know, you did this, cool, but I gotta fix it. You did it, but I'm not gonna waddle in what you did and, oh God, he did me wrong. Like, whatever, go ahead, go, hurry up, because I got this to do. I forgive you, but no reconciliation, because you destroyed that, you know, you destroyed that space. And this is what got me here, is the forgiveness of self and the forgiveness of this person and releasing him. And you don't have to suffer no more, because I got this now.
Do you trust yourself to date at this point? Like, I know that's a hard thing for people when you've had a couple of bad experiences. It's hard to still trust yourself to choose the right person. Do you trust yourself to?
I don't know how to choose the right person. I still don't know how to do that. So, but I don't beat myself up, and I allow myself fun. I allow myself to love and be open to get love.
Right.
I'm allowing that, but I don't know who. But I'm just, you know, I'm using my instincts to say,
Look
as soon as I
how
see.
she leaned back. Look how she leaned back.
It's interesting because, you know, you talked about what your self-care looked like, right? The books you read. And for us, your albums have been our self-care. And that's really interesting to hear, because I was going to ask the same question. Is like, after everything you've been through and you sound so positive, and we're so happy to see you in this beautiful space. Like,
Thank you.
How do you give love a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance? How do you continue?
Well, if you have love in you, you will, you know, and I have love in me. I've learned how to have love in me by releasing people, releasing someone that hurt you the most, with that love like you never been hurt. That's a process.
Yeah.
You know, that's hard. But if you can just release that person and say, you did this, but I gotta fix it. Only you could fix it. Only you and God know what really happened. So just be out there, just be naked about it and say, look, I did this, I allowed this, I was stupid for this. You know, lay on the line what you did, and that's how the healing begins. But when you're like this, no healing comes from pointing at what everybody else did to you. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm sure you've seen it, and I think we've even talked about it, how there are fans of you who actually articulate and say out of their mouths that they want the toxic Mary. Like, they want the Mary that has, when you see that kind of talk, how does that make you feel?
Well, I understand it, because everyone has to go through their process. Everyone has to get to a place where they can feel like how I feel, you know? And I can't judge them, because we don't know what their life is like. We don't know what they're living through. We don't know why they want those songs. They might be stuck where they are,
yeah.
you know? So, you know, I can't not make songs for them, because I still go through things too.
That's right.
You know, and I still have a book to sing about, you know, if I was to go there. So I can't ever be like, oh, I'm mad, or they shouldn't, because I don't know what people, you just don't know. The world is going through stuff.
Right.
You know, so when they say we want toxic married, they may be toxic, and that's real. You know?
You just mentioned the word love. I think when people think of you, they think of the word love quite a bit. So I was among the surprise on Sunday at the Super Bowl when we did not get real love as a part of that performance. And you went with No More Drama. We all knew you were going to do Family Affair, of course.
Right.
That's your Dr. Dre anthem.
Right.
What can you explain the logic on No Real Love?
Well, I only had 2 minutes. If that. And I had to do what I felt the world, was watching needed. And No More Drama, I think, was appropriate because I know I'm sick of wearing all these masks and all this COVID and people dying every day. And, every time I turn on the news, men are walking in their house, blowing their kids and their wives away and then themselves. This world
Mental
is
health issues
mental health.
everywhere.
Yeah, so that's what I felt like. Well, that's obviously what Dre felt like was appropriate because he picked the songs, and I was like, absolutely, you can't lose with No More Drama because of the climate right out here in the world.
How did it feel? That's the biggest. You've done every stage that you've probably ever wanted, but that stage is kind of like a coveted moment for entertainers, right? Prince, Michael Jackson, they've all done that. Beyonce, Mary J. Blige now. How did that feel? Like, did it register that way for you as like a height in your career, or
Yeah.
how do you rank it?
It's high.
Right.
It's up there with like the inauguration.
Right.
And I was nervous until I got on the stage. But I was nervous in all the rehearsals. Everybody was nervous, everyone. But that's a huge moment.
A perfectionist like Dr. Dre, like we've heard stories about him in the studio. You've been in the studio with him where, and I've heard stories making somebody cut a vocal 50 times, to get it. What were the rehearsals like? Like, how intense were these rehearsals leading up to the halftime?
They were intense. We had to do it over and over and over again, because of so many of us on the lineup. We had to make sure we hit everything. And it was a lot of fun, though. We had a lot of fun. But it was a lot of work.
Did you get quality time with all the artists? Like, did you guys all spend? Were you Eminem, Kendrick? Were those conversations happening where all of you were together, or no?
What conversation?
Like, just were there
Hanging
moments?
out.
Oh,
yeah, were there moments when you all got to hang?
I have fan out moments. I have my cameras there. I was like, I need this all in the video. I need this on the picture. I got a chance to tell Kendrick how much I love him. I got a chance to tell Kendrick how I came into my last birthday, not this year. So, all right. I was like, y'all came on my birthday to my birthday on all right, and I played the joint all day long, and he was just so like happy, and just got a chance to tell him what a fan I was of To Pimp a Butterfly and all his dope albums, and just to talk to Dre and tell Dre how much I always wanted to work with him. That sparked the whole conversation. Me and Dre about to do a whole joint together now because I've always been a fan since NWA. Snoop loved laughing. Snoop kept us laughing. Eminem kept us laughing. 50 kept us laughing, because everybody had to do the thing over and over again. And at some point, everybody would be tired, like I'm tired, looking like I'm tired of this shit. But it was beautiful, man. It was a good time. It was a great time.
Did you work with 50 on Power too, right? And how is that? Does he come on set?
Well, he's my boss, so I don't see him that much.
So, he don't come on set like that?
No, he popped up on the very last. He popped up. Well, we started shooting season 3 already before I went out to the Super Bowl. And he popped up just to say how amazing the last episode of season 2 was, and he congratulated us on that and hugged us all and left. And then I saw him again in LA, but I never really see him like that.
Got it. He ain't just hovering around the set all day.
Absolutely
not.
Before you walked in, we were all fanning over Mary J. Blige, the actor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Umbrella Academy talk.
We were
Let's
discussing
go.
Umbrella Academy. How much I was telling the guys, I just blurted out how much I enjoyed you in Umbrella Academy. And you know what? When I turned it on, I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. And then when I saw you come out and bust those action scenes, it was so fun to watch you. Can you tell us about, your experience shooting that?
Well, I had a lot of fun. Like, we were in Toronto for 5 months. And once you get to know everybody on set, it's like, okay, whose house is the party at this weekend? And it was always at my house because I had a really big house, and I made a lot of cool friends. I learned martial arts for that. I learned how to shoot every gun there is, and it was a good time. A lot of work, but a good time.
Yo, if you haven't watched Umbrella Academy, it's still available on Netflix. But Mary J., your character's fire.
Thank you.
Yo, fight scenes, blowing motherfuckers' heads off, like the whole shit.
How much do you enjoy acting? Like, and was this part of your plan always to become an actor?
It wasn't part of my plan. It was something I always wanted to do though as a kid, and it came back through the music. And it came back. My first gig was the Jamie Foxx show where I played Ola May.
Right.
And then after that, everybody was calling for prison songs and strong medicine. I was like, oh wow, okay, I guess I'm cool at it. But then when I did Mudbound, I was like, oh snap, I got 2 Oscar nominations. I guess I'm really more than cool at it. So let me work at it some more. So it just kept rolling as I heard the noise from people. Because if I didn't hear people say they liked it or wanted it, I would have quit. So they liked the acting, so I just kept studying.
It's similar, I guess, as a singer, right? Because you see rappers do very well at acting too, because you're taking words on a page and putting emotion of some sort into what you're doing. Are you tapping into sometimes the same places, like in a movie like Mudbound, like it's very emotional, or going back, even Prison Song and all those things? Are you like when you're doing your acting, are you tapping into this pain and things same way you tap in music?
100%. You got to find something real in order to make it real. Mudbound, I was in hell, straight hell, and I put all that hell, and I couldn't say a lot in that hell that I was in. So that woman was silent and strong, so I had to give all this silent, the repressed strength,
Physical pain, like show it on your body.
Yeah, and I had to give her that. And in Umbrella Academy, I just was ready to kill everybody. So just like the same, and Ghost is just therapeutic because there's a lot of people I still, I use faces, when it's time to, you got to draw it from a real place.
Right.
And can you get that upset? Yes. Can I get that upset? Yes. Can I think like that? Yes. So you draw it from those places.
After you're finished, because I always ask actors this, after you're finished playing these roles, or after you're finished playing a song and you've poured out all of this emotion, do you feel relieved, exhausted? Do you need to go like talk to family and friends to like recalibrate and center yourself? Like, how do you get your center back?
Exhausted. You're exhausted. You have to get quiet. You have to go prayer, meditation. You have to always go back to the spirit, because that's what's drained. And so I go back to the spirit. I go to prayer, quiet, eating, whatever I want to do, I do it. If I don't want to hear you, I don't want to hear you. If I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to talk to you. I have to take my space.
One thing that I think everyone always associates you with, obviously, of course, is hip hop. You're the queen of hip hop, always have been. I want to understand a little bit about how the way that you incorporated hip hop into your music, even though it was foundational, but I mean with rappers specifically, how that came to be. Because going all the way back to Pooh on What's the 411, you established whoever was the hottest, whoever was having that moment was on a Mary J record.
Like right now with Fabio,
Going all the way till now. And in between, we've seen some of the all-time greats from 50 to Mos Def to Smith & Wesson. That's a thing. What was the origin of that? Was it the rappers reaching out to you, you being like, I want to get people on these records? Was it Puff? What was the origins of that?
Well, a lot of it was Puff. A lot of it was people just wanting to get down. People really love the songs and all the using the hip hop samples. I was a hip hop head since I was young. And so that was destined to happen when I got in the studio with Puff and he played Audio 2 for Real Love. And he did the Bismarck for You Remind Me. I was like, how does this guy know everything I love? So we were on the same page far as what we loved in hip hop. And we got together and everything just exploded because he just knew everything that I wanted. He knew. And we did all those. We did Real Love. We did My Life, which was all samples, and the rest is history. Everybody from the time Busta narrated What's the 411.
Right.
I'm trying to think was there any rappers on other than the Answer Machine, because there's a lot of rappers on the Answer Machine. Pooh was on What's the 411.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
And then My Life was just every sample that I've ever loved.
Yeah.
And from that point on, everybody wanted to be on a Mary J. Blige. Everybody wanted a verse.
Yeah.
But then you kept it going because at a certain point, it just becomes you choosing to do it. When you get to the time where you do Sincerity with Nas and DMX, that you put out as just a bonus. Like at that point, were you just saying, hey, I want to just feed the culture? Like I just want to do these songs to do them?
I think I was just doing them because I loved singing. I loved those samples. I loved feeling that stuff go through me. I just loved it. It wasn't like I'm doing it. It was nothing planned. It was just what we did.
what it was,
We were
yeah.
just moving studio time, you know.
Right.
That made us feel good.
Because you take one like Beautiful, Black Star, and a lot of people won't even know that Mary was on a record with Black Star, but like it came out as a bootleg record, right? These things would just come out. And so, yeah, I was just wonder what your logic was when you did it. It was such a blessing.
There
for
was no
everyone.
logic. It was
New
just
York. It was New York.
It was New York when hip hop was like when New York was New York.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it was shit coming out from everywhere.
Yep.
And I didn't know anything about a lot of it. You know, Puff would make a whole remix album and bring it to my house for What's the 411 with everybody on it. I'm like, oh, snap, when'd you do that? It was a surprise. So that's what it was.
I made it up in my own mind, the scenario of you and Method Man doing You're All I Need. And then now fast forward to Good Morning Gorgeous, and the guy who played Method Man in the Wu-Tang show is now on Rent Free. I made that like, oh, she had to do that because, and it probably wasn't even that thought. It wasn't. But in my mind, play along with me.
It wasn't.
In my mind, Mary J. crafted this whole full circle moment.
I wish I could think that far. I didn't even see this coming. That guy's Dave was just dope. He's a dope artist, and he's Nas's artist, and you know Nas believes in him. You know, it's going to be something fly.
And this record's fire. Let's play it too. Let's play them both. We'll play Rent Free, which is off Good Morning Gorgeous.
Rent money.
Or Rent Money, excuse me. Rent Money. And then we'll play You're All I Need, Method Man back to back while we got Mary J here taking over the show today. Go get that new project, Good Morning Gorgeous, available on Apple Music right now. Back to the Super Bowl. I'd love to know, like, have you watched kind of I guess there's been this, and it may not even hit your world, but there's definitely an energy around people feeling as if the performance at halftime was somehow, it was too raunchy, or it was too real, or how did these gangster rappers get on stage? Have you seen that conversation at all?
Nah, I haven't. That's a small conversation compared to how huge that is. Like hip hop is here. It's more than just a small thing. It's just as big as rock and roll right now.
Bigger, maybe.
Right.
Definitely makes more money.
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't pay attention to all of that. I'm just paying attention to how we got raised up.
Right.
You know, someone looked at us and said, you know, well, somebody looked at Dre and said, we need you. And Dre looked at me and said, I want you. And, you know, so on and so forth with all his friends. So I really don't care about that.
Right. Did you get to see Hov at all?
Yeah, I saw Jay. I haven't seen Jay in a long time. He was so happy and so proud. I was so happy to make my peers happy. Like that makes me feel good.
Well, and what it meant for Los Angeles too, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
and they won that night. It was
and they
crazy.
won. I mean, I don't know. Has a city ever gotten a real trifecta like that, Rosenberg, where it's like the hometown team wins, the game is in
The hometown.
and the halftime performance is hometown icons era.
That was unique. I've never seen that ever.
Because that's a one of one. And I mean, and for you to even be in that moment as, you know, obviously representing New York, but also just being there to bring that together for them. Were you able to process that, how important that was for the city?
Yeah, I knew they was gonna win. I just had this feeling. I kept telling myself they're gonna win. They're gonna, because we're here.
Right.
Like this is the first time. This is Dr. Dre. You know, this is Snoop Dogg. This is the epitome of hip hop. And this is for the first time. I said this is too big. Everything is just gonna go in LA's favor tonight. That was my prediction on
Well,
the
and from top to bottom, right? You got Hov, whose relationship, Rock Nation, his company's relationship with the NFL, crafting this entertainment moment. You got Dr. Dre. I mean, those are the two biggest names of hip hop.
Yep.
Working together to make this more. It don't get bigger than that.
And you mentioned Hov. Do you remember doing Can't Knock the Hustle?
I do remember Can't Knock the Hustle.
Take us through that.
Oh man, it's such a raggedy process. Well,
Well,
let me just hit y'all with the whole thing. So, I mean, this is during the My Life album when I was like just straight on drugs, drugs and alcohol, and I got a call from my girlfriend who knew Dame Dash, and Dame Dash wanted to try to get in touch with me. I knew Dame too, but he didn't have no information on me, and she said, he has this artist by the name of Jay-Z who wants you on a record. And I said, okay, let me go, see what's up. I went. They had the money in a brown paper bag, 10 grand. I said, thank you very much. I went in the booth, sang the song, was out.
So good.
That's incredible.
So good.
And did you? So obviously you're not thinking at this point that you're going to be a part of history. You're going to start off one of the most important hip hop albums of all time.
I had no idea. All I knew was that it was for Dame and it was for Jay. When I heard him, I was like, say less. I'm on it. And
a
the
little,
rest is
little
history.
cash in the pocket.
And the money already there.
Let's go. Ain't nobody got to invoice anybody. I ain't got to wait no waiting times.
Right.
Ain't no funny business with a check showing up. Let's get to it. Yo, let's play the record too. I also want to play that Keith Murray remix of Be Happy too.
Oh my God. That's one of my favorite.
Really?
Oh my God. I need that. Can I get that? How can I? Because I can't ever find it.
It's on streaming services.
It's out there.
It's on Apple Music. It's there.
But it's not on Spotify, though, right?
It's probably on Spotify too. If it's on
it should
Apple
be.
Music, yeah.
No, it's not. I tried to find it.
Really? And it
the
wasn't
Spotify
there?
slipping. I'll get it for you.
That's one of my
no problem.
favorites. And I saw the performance on the Apollo the other day, because me and Keith did it at the Apollo. That shit was crazy.
Fire. My I have a 7-year-old. She loves Mary J. Blige. Listen, we'll get in the car like, yo, Daddy, can we listen to Mary today? And I mean, we're listening to My Life album. We're listening to What's 411, My Life. She loves all of it. She loves it all.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
Do you I mean, you've made generational music, like literally. Because at the time, My Life, right, the samples that were being used obviously brought, older generations into Mary J. Blige, and then the kids who grew up at that moment, and then the music is also timeless. Like when you listen to it in context now, like it jumps out. There's nothing I think that we've gotten in R&B and hip hop that sounds like what you've created. When you go out, I know I'm sure you're working on a tour right now. You're going to be touring around this project. How does that feel to be at this? Do you ever stop and smell the roses, I guess is what I'm asking. Do you? Because I know today, and I know, like, I always want, every time I see you, I want to give you your flowers. I'm sure you get sick of me being
no,
like,
I
yo,
don't. I
going
never
down
get sick of
memory
it.
lane.
Never.
Yo, Mary, do you know how great you are? And she's like, yo, my dude, I got a new project. What are you talking about? Let's get to it. But I don't know. I just want you to know, like, how, I want to know that you know how important you are, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do now. I definitely do now.
Good.
Yes.
Because that is important. I mean, you are, just when you walked in the room, like, it's really hard to explain. As someone who grew up loving this culture, you're iconic. You are an absolute pillar of this whole thing. Can we throw a couple names at you and you tell us if there's a story that you care to remember?
Okay.
Here we go.
How about a couple names?
Here we go.
Because this just popped in my mind. And tell me I'm not making this up. I think it was a hit. George Michael.
Oh man, beautiful, beautiful person. I loved him so much. When I met him, he was just so beautiful. Like the story. That's the only story I have is how dope and beautiful he was.
Okay, let's throw out another one. How about Common?
Another amazing person. Amazing, like, yeah.
You had a big one with there's so many, Mary. It's really hard to choose.
It's hard, man. When you go through it, it's crazy.
I mean, listen, we'd be remiss if we don't ask you about Big. Obviously, you guys are so indelibly, that Real Love remix is such an important piece of his story. What are your memories of working with Biggie?
Just fun. Biggie was quiet, but Biggie loved when he loved you. He loved you, and he loved me, and I loved him. And he was a lot of fun. He was funny as hell.
Do you prefer the remix or the original?
Both.
It's different. It's like you need.
They both have it. They satisfy a different.
They do.
You know.
Yeah.
The one with the cleanup woman, the Betty White sample, that's so crazy, and then the original, the piano on the original, and the top bill and drums are such a.
Yeah, you can't even compare them. They both in a class by themselves.
When you we also got to mention the great Andre Harrell. And what he meant to you, your career, and it hit me when you talked about you and Puff getting in a room, and Puff bringing these, I mean, you're on Uptown, he's working for Andre, and y'all are crafting this moment. He's bringing these records to you. Just briefly, because people may know the name and not know really what Andre Harrell meant to you and to us as people who came up in the game.
Well, if it wasn't for Andre coming to the projects where I lived and listening to me sing and signing me, none of this would be possible. Like that man, the CEO of Uptown Records, came down to my hood and came up to the apartment and heard me sing.
How did he know about you?
Well, he knew about me because Jeff Redd was signed to his label, and my stepfather at the time was working at General Motors. And I made the tape at the Galleria Mall, and I brought the tape home for my stepfather to hear. And he immediately said, I have somebody that can help you. And he brought it to Jeff Redd. Jeff Redd then took it to Andre Harrell. Andre Harrell came, heard the tape, and then came running.
That's a beautiful.
Wow, Jeff Redd actually called and told Andre Harrell.
You called and told Dre.
That's crazy. That's so like, because people always wonder, you hand off a tape and it's a prayer that it's going to make it to someone. In your case, the tape made it.
You're what, 15? How old are you at the time?
I was
tape?
16.
16.
Yeah.
What was on the original tape? Was it just covers? You just singing
Caught
whatever?
Up in the Rapture. That was my favorite song. Caught Up in the Rapture.
And Andre Harrell comes to your apartment. Your family's home.
Yeah, Andre came into our little small apartment, and I sang, I think the Rapture album was out at the time, and I think I sang damn near the whole album for him.
I remember you telling a story. Your mom used to listen to that album all the time, right?
No, that was me. That was my favorite album. My mother is the clean up woman and staple singers and all that stuff like that. Anita Baker. Yeah.
Have you and Anita Baker have you ever been able? Have you met her and talked to her?
Yeah, that's my sister, my friend.
Really?
Yeah, I love her. Yeah.
Anita Baker, Patti LaBelle. You go in that. Those are your. They're not your contemporaries, but you're seen as a diva on that level. You're seen as, what do y'all talk about with regard to music and the industry when you guys come together? Is that not even a thing? Is it just being a woman in the game and just?
We don't talk about anything industry. They just talk about how much they love me and how I need to take care of myself, and I'll be fanning out about all their songs and how much. And I try to get them space because women like space and they don't like to be groupied out over. So but when I get a chance, I just overload them with all the love that I have for them and how they changed my life.
Do you still live in the tri-state area? Do you live in Los Angeles? Do you move around? Like what?
I live here.
And so do you ever get to go back to your old neighborhood at all? Do you still have family there? Like
I still have family there. The last time I was there, we was doing a documentary for something, and I said I can't go as much as yeah.
As much as you like to.
Yeah, I'm not an idiot. I can't just be running down there, sitting in front of Building 5, and get robbed and jumped.
How much is being a New Yorker, do you think, a part of who you are as an artist? Because you may be as quintessentially New York an artist and human being. Like your entire aura, everything about you is New York. Do you feel that New York informed a lot of your music?
100% it did. All of me. All of New York is a part of who I am and what I am. I was born in the Bronx, raised in Yonkers. This is my life.
Do you think that's a big part? I just, as I'm sitting with you, it makes me realize that must be something that people identify with you so much, because I don't know you, but it feels like I know you because you're just such a regular New York person on some level, even though you're this, you know what I'm saying, this iconic diva. Do you get a lot of that from people, that they see themselves in you?
Yep, everybody just think they know me really good.
You've also said a lot.
Mary's my sister in my head. I love it though. You always been my sister in my head. You my friend. And I love it. I love all of it.
And for the audience, I gotta let y'all know, like, she is what you see. Like, this is not, you're not meeting the representative when you are around Mary J. Blige. She's dancing in the club. She's standing on couches. She's taking shots. You know what I'm saying? She's talking shit. She's cracking jokes. You know what I mean? She's telling motherfuckers, shut the fuck up. My song is on right now. Hang on. All of that is actually happening in real life.
100%.
Was there ever a time that you maybe lost, because you're on time. I've never had an interview as big a name as you are. A show I've been a part of putting together, an interview. Mary J. Blige has never been late. You are always exactly on time. You are humble. You are easy to work with. Like, was there ever a time where you lost some of that center, that humility, and kind of started maybe feeling yourself a little bit and lost sight of who you were, and you were like, this ain't me. Like, I ain't.
I think when I was younger, I was just a total asshole. Like I didn't make anything on time. I was always high. I was always drunk. So I think the earlier parts of my years, that's when that
was the mess.
It was a mess. As I got older, I started to realize that this is all for me, and I keep getting these chances. I need to get myself together. Me making it late to your interview is not going to be a problem for you. It's going to be a problem for me. So I just learned the longer I lived, the more I learned. And I learned that, back in the days, I was that person. The older I got, I realized that everything is, this is for me.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying?
I love that. Looking forward, how many, other than the things you're doing on Ghost, what other acting scripts are coming across the table? What are you cooking right now? I know we got the Dre album. Potentially, y'all gonna get back in. You got what you doing with 50. You told me last time we spoke that acting is. I mean, it's music and acting. Like acting is a priority for you.
Right, but I also have a production company called Blue Butterfly. Like we have a lot of content coming. A lot of material. A lot of things are placed. A lot of things are coming. So
dope.
Yeah. So that's something else I'm doing. And I have my wine that I'm still, promoting, and it's doing well, doing very well. That's another
What's
thing.
the name of the wine?
Sun Goddess. You haven't had any Sun Goddess
I haven't
yet?
had Sun Goddess. I didn't even know about Sun Goddess.
Sun Goddess.
Listen.
Gotta get y'all some
Nice.
Sun Goddess.
Yeah, son of a
Send them
box.
bottles.
It's good. So we have a rosé, and we have a Pinot Grigio, and we have a Prosecco that's coming.
Oh, this is Sun
Yeah.
Goddess with
Yeah.
the gold circle label on the
Yeah.
front.
Yep. It's doing.
Mary J out here about to own a vineyard in a second. Don't play around.
Ebro mentioned Meth again, and you guys, of course, coming back together on Ghost, had everyone talking about you guys. And, Method Man is just the internet's favorite person to bring up,
Nah, Method Man, say it right. Method Man is a fucking sex symbol.
Well, yeah.
out here.
I mean, when Meth, the
saying?
internet just regularly drools over Meth, so he's always being talked about. And also, he's so good still. He's such a great artist. Do you feel sort of indelibly, like permanently connected to Method Man because of the success of You're All I Need?
I mean, that's definitely a connection because the record's so huge. But to end up on Power together was like, oh snap! Like neither one of us saw this coming, and it's beautiful because he's just amazing as Davis McClain, and just seeing him on set is just a lot of fun, man. He's just too much fun.
It must have been an interesting chapter, though, too, because I'm guessing y'all didn't know each other that well. You have this one record that then just goes crazy. You must have then performed it a bunch of times and been around each other. And then I'm guessing life just then takes you apart as well. Like, was it just a moment in time, sort of the Mary and Meth moment?
Yeah, it was a big moment in time. Matt is quiet. He doesn't hang around us. We see him when we see him, and then when we see him, he's real. He really loves us, and we love him. And but it's just a moment in time that just brings people back together. And now Ghost is bringing us back together. So this is like we're destined to see each other. Me and Meth is destined to be around. This was supposed to happen the way it's happening.
So Mary, we gotta talk about your skin regimen because I'm sure there's people watching this video like, look at her skin, what's she doing?
It's true.
It's gonna happen because you look incredible.
Thank you,
I'm
Ebro.
also looking at this here, and no disrespectful.
What
this
are you-
is-
Where
I'm
are you
looking
going?
at the advertisement, how amazing she looks in this
Thank
Sun
you.
Goddess advertisement, and it's specifically focused. I mean, the hips and arms and shoulders, and I mean. You knew what you was doing is basically what I'm saying right here.
Of course, I mean,
She's got to sell some wine.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta sell some more.
well, actually, that photo shoot was taken on my last birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was in Turks and Caicos,
I mean,
and
shining.
Yeah.
You were feeling good.
Glorious.
I was feeling excellent. Yeah.
So what is your regimen, skin wise, workout wise, etc.? How intense it?
Well, I train 3 days out of a week.
Okay.
And I just do whatever the facial lady tells me to do. Whatever creams and stuff she give me, I use them. I moisturize with whatever the moisturizer is. I drink a lot of water.
Yep.
Try to think positive. That's
Oh, that drink. What about sleep? Let's talk sleep talk.
I get my sleep. I love sleep. I love a good nap. Like
That she's
yeah.
talking.
Well, because we talk about it on the air a lot. Like, I'm big on sleep. I'm big on water. I don't feel like if you don't get sleep and you ain't drinking enough water, whatever you trying to do in life ain't gonna be as great as it could be. Like, period, end of discussion.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even having your emotional balance
Well,
right.
and in hip-hop, people celebrate. In hip-hop, people have a tendency to celebrate no sleep. And I always feel like it's counterproductive. You know what I mean?
I mean, everybody celebrates. When I was younger, I wasn't getting no sleep.
Right.
So I'm sure, the new generations are celebrating no sleep. But
Once
Well,
you
I've
get a
been trying
certain
to
age,
get-
you better
I need
celebrate
sleep
some
now.
motherfucking sleep, all right.
I celebrate sleep. When I was young, I was not sleeping at all. I was up and high and running around all the time on photo shoots, eyes stretched like this, no sleep for weeks on video sets. Like, it was fun because you're younger and you could carry that, and then you can go do it again the next day. But then your body starts breaking down when you get older. You start being like, oh God, I can't. Like, it takes me a whole week to recover from one night of hanging out.
Do you shout to our girl Angie Martinez. Y'all's relationship is one of the strongest bonds, like, you could see in like the way you guys, and maybe because I'm close to it, it and Angie and you, just that sisterhood that you have.
Yeah, that's my sis. From day one, the first time I met Angie, I just knew, like, it was here, and I just knew. I said, "This is my nigga." Like, I hope I can say that.
Well, it happened.
You know,
It's all good.
I said, "It's my this." We just click, and from that day, we just been in love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all get to hang out still a lot?
yeah. Angie was at the Super Bowl with me.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I guess I saw that, but I
Yeah.
don't, outside of that, y'all get to just click up and just
100%. She'll, like, we live in the same neighborhood. Like, she'll come to my house sometimes. I go to her house sometimes. We drink. Or we need a sun goddess night, or we need a wine night. Yeah, we saw that.
I love that. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the great Mary J. Blige. Thank you for your time today and just being you.
Thank you,
You are
Ebro.
you're appreciated. And I want to get back. What's your favorite record on Good Morning Gorgeous today?
Oh man,
Because I'm sure you love a lot of records on here. So what's today looking like?
today. Let's see.
I think Love Without Heartbreak is
All right,
yo,
cool.
Anderson. First of all, let's talk about Anderson Paak real quick.
Okay.
Did you got to cook with, like, you guys were together in the studio for this record
Yes.
on your album?
Yes, we were in the
So
studio
the
together.
magic of him, that energy, that creativity that he
Yeah.
brings, you got to experience that up close.
Yeah, he's the truth. Like,
really
we were drinking and writing and laughing, and when I met him, like, it was like screaming when we first met each other. Like, it was.
So you're a fan. You see the work and know the work, and you're a fan.
Yeah, I met. I discovered him when I was on tour with Maxwell, and Maxwell was playing this guy over and over and over again in his dressing room every day, and I was like, "Yo, who was that?" He was like, "That's Anderson Paak." I was like, "I need to work with him." I took the music and I started training to it and listening to it all the time, and I was like, "Oh, I need to work with him." And look at, I manifested it, and we were in the studio together working.
Yo, and he's having a moment right now with that Bruno Mars Silk Sonic and what they're doing
that
and what he
song
did
is
at the
crazy.
Super Bowl on the drums.
Yeah.
No, he's special.
Let's play that record, and then what else should we play off Good Morning Gorgeous today?
Here with me, that features Anderson Paak,
Right, let's play that.
and whatever else you want to hear.
Love Without the
Love Without
Heartbreak.
the Heartbreak. Won't you give the Favi joint?
You love that Favi joint on top. Shout to Favi, yo.
Yeah,
He's having a
shout to
moment too.
Favi.
Favi's having a moment too.
Yes.
Killed the Kanye album, got a Mary single.
Yep.
Got another
His new
record
single
now with Kanye.
you heard that
and-
Alicia Keys
and
joint he
Alicia-
got with Kanye and him called City of Gods.
No, I haven't.
Yo, that record's crazy too. He's
Dope.
having
a
out
moment.
here. Mary
Good.
J. Blige, ladies and gentlemen, go get
Thank
that Good
you.
Morning Gorgeous. And if you want to link with Mary J. Blige,
Oh
Long
yes,
Island,
it's going down today. Looney Tunes on Long Island in Babylon.
There it goes. You signing, taking photos.
Signing, drinking, all that.
Some sun goddesses going around.
All that.
Mary J. Blige. We
Thanks,
love you.
Mary.
We love you.
I love you too, Ebro.
Yeah.
Thank you.